Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. India's border security force kills at least 7 terrorists as alert troops neutralize infiltration bid by Pakistan along the international border in Samba sector of Jammu. BSF causes extensive damage to the Pak post in Dhandar. India foils Pakistan's attacks along entire western border, successfully intercepts Pakistan missiles directed at Jammu. Army reiterates resolve to respond to all nefarious designs with force. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting launches India Fights propaganda campaign, urges citizens to support and amplify this campaign, says put up this as the profile picture on all official social media accounts. Pakistan begging international community for more loans, citing heavy losses inflicted by enemy, urges help in de-escalating. India to seek checks on IMF loans to Pakistan at the meeting today. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio tells Pakistan PM Shehbaz Sharif to take concrete steps to end support for terrorist groups, reaffirms commitment to work with India in fight against terrorism in a call to Dr. Jaishankar. In a big news, the Border Security Force successfully thwarted a major infiltration attempt along the international boundary in Jammu and Kashmir's Samba district as tension continues between India and Pakistan. The incident occurred in the intervening night of 8th and 9th of May. An infiltration attempt by a big group of terrorists has been tried, which was detected by surveillance grid. At least 7 terrorists have been killed, and this infiltration bid was supported by fire from Pak Rangers post Dhandar. So major success, huge success for the Border Security Force. They have thwarted a major infiltration attempt along the international boundary in Jammu and Kashmir's Samba district. Earlier, Pakistan Armed Forces launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along entire western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th May. Indian Army shared a video and said Pakistan troops also resorted to numerous ceasefire violations or CFVs along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. The drone attacks were effectively repulsed and befitting reply was given to the CFVs. Indian Army remains committed to safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the nation. All nefarious designs will be responded with force. So, Pakistan Armed Forces launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along the western border on the intervening night of 8th and 9th May. And Indian Army, they have also shared a video that Pakistan troops resorted to numerous ceasefire violations along the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. The drone attacks were effectively repulsed and befitting reply was given to the ceasefire violations. And Indian Army remains committed to safeguarding the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the nation. All nefarious designs will be responded with force. Alright, so in a huge success, Border Security Force, they thwarted a major infiltration attempt along the international boundary and Jammu and Kashmir Samba district, and Pakistan Armed Forces launched multiple attacks using drones and other munitions along the western border on 8th and 9th May, the night. And Indian Army also, they have shared a video. Meanwhile, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is meeting with Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan and 3 service chiefs too. Chief of the Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi, Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Dinesh K. Tripathi, and Chief of the Air Staff Air Chief Marshal Amarpreet Singh. The meeting was held in New Delhi. All right, we'll go across to DD India's Nandita Dagar. She is joining us live from New Delhi. Nandita, first of all, many Pakistani terrorists, they have been gunned down in the retaliatory firing by India's border security force. Huge success by the BSF.
Yes, this is actually kudos and hats off to the BSF, because in this kind of a fluid situation, a developing situation, when our defense minister is meeting the 3 service chiefs, they are constantly updating the Prime Minister, the National Security Advisor, and the events of last night when we saw that our air defenses of the Indian Air Force, our S-400 air defense missiles, the Akash surface to air missiles, they downed 8 Pakistani missiles all along the LOC and along the border. And we see when Pakistan cannot match India in its in conventional warfare, its military capabilities are absolutely diminished. The morale of its forces is very, very low by the kind of damage that India inflicted on the Lahore air defense system yesterday and day before yesterday, when 9 targets in POK and proper Pakistan, some as far as 100 kilometers from the international border, Bahawalpur, they were targeted. Terrorist camps were targeted. So India has the moral right to defend itself, and India always clarified that it is not interested in escalation and is only targeting terrorist infrastructure. It has not targeted any military infrastructure or civilian infrastructure. Yet when the Indian Foreign Secretary firmly placed the ball in Pakistan's court when it said that it is now for Pakistan to actually not step up the escalation ladder. But you see, Pakistan last night around 9:15 began these drone attacks, kamikaze drone, very rudimentary missiles, homemade sort of missiles, which just reminiscent of how the Hamas manufactures missiles in its underground tunnels. Those sorts of missiles were absolutely neutralized. They were absolutely made defunct, and they caused no damage to our Indian military installations. In fact, the places like Jalandhar, Amritsar, Chandigarh, places in Bhuj, Rajasthan, Punjab, Gujarat, these are the border states. All along the frontage, Pakistan actually indulged in drone and missile warfare. They were all rendered useless, and therefore Pakistan is currently in a very frustrated state, and since it cannot match India in a conventional war, it engages in proxy war through its terrorist proxies. It aims, arms and abets and trains them. As the world knows by now very, very openly, the defense minister of Pakistan, Khaja Asif himself admitting it, confessing it. I don't know whether it was a Freudian slip or whether he was being candid, but he absolutely unashamedly admitted that they have been giving support to terrorism, and that is why the world clearly sees for what Pakistan is doing. And through this cover fire, this BSF attack that you mentioned, that they try to infiltrate terrorists, the BSF was on alert, on high vigil as these situation demands, and they not just thwarted this infiltration but gunned down these 7 terrorists. They are always aided and abetted by the Pakistani Rangers. The Pakistani Rangers is the force which is responsible for the international border. Remember, Samba is the place which you are talking about, and Samba is on the international border. It is not on the LOC. So the border action teams and the Pakistan Rangers with the cover of fire, they try to infiltrate as many terrorists as possible. And imagine what would have happened if last night we thwarted all these attacks, protected our military installations, and if these suicide bombers or terrorists would have carried out a mass shooting or a suicide bombing at our military installations or killed innocent people, what kind of escalation would have happened, and India would again have had to respond to that. So you can just imagine what a appreciative step and very, very vigilant and alert that our BSF troops were.
Yes, absolutely, Nandita, and they were heavily armed and tried to infiltrate into the Indian side of the international border in Samba district. But Nandita, key meetings happening in the national capital. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is meeting with the Chief of Defence Staff CDS General Anil Chauhan in New Delhi along with 3 service chiefs. Tell us, how significant is this meeting?
Yes, ever since the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, where 26 innocent tourists were gunned down at point blank range in front of their families, the families traumatized for the rest of their lives, and such a heinous act, no self-respecting sovereign country can accept that and has to retaliate. Our Foreign Secretary made it very clear that these were deterrent and punitive as well as preemptive strikes. That were carried out on 9 places in Pakistan and POK that were carried out on 7th of May. So when you say that these meetings are going on, these meetings have been actually happening every day almost. Ever since that terrorist attack in Pahalgam, the Defence Minister has met the Chief of Defence Staff. Sometimes he has held meetings with all the 3 service chiefs. They keep briefing and updating the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister himself held a meeting with the National Security Advisor and the 3 service chiefs and the Defence Minister, also holding a Cabinet Committee on Security. So this is par for course in this fluid developing situation when a nation is under attack from terrorists. It is but natural for any self-respecting nation to carry out its preparedness, and the Prime Minister, obviously being the head of our government, is going to chair this meeting to review the operational preparedness and further options that are on the table. Because India is unlike Pakistan. In Pakistan, the Prime Minister is a puppet Prime Minister. All the shots are called by the army, which enjoys a lavish lifestyle, and the Pakistani army, is afraid of losing its relevance.
All right, Nandita, I'll come back to you. Meanwhile, Akshay Dongre is also joining us on the phone line. Akshay, key meetings happening in the national capital. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is meeting CDS General Anil Chauhan in New Delhi. How significant is the meeting? Is it to review the operation preparedness?
Well, Abhishek, if you're looking at the operational preparedness, then each and every meeting that's being held up at this point in the Defence Ministry is of equal importance, especially given the flare-up that took place yesterday after Pakistan's nefarious designs. What we are seeing is, these meetings are being taken place all across the ministries, especially when it comes to the Defence Ministry and the Ministry of External Affairs. Both the ministries are working round the clock to ensure safety of the countrymen, and this picture that we are showing to our viewers, the significance of the picture also remains quite high at this point in time, because the presence of the Defence Minister, officials of the Defence Ministry, along with the Chief of Defence Staff, the Indian Army Chief, Indian Air Force Chief, and the Indian Navy Chief being present all at the same time clearly means that something big is cooking, and what we can expect in the next course of 48 to 72 hours is going to be quite baffling for Pakistan, especially given the fact that a large-scale attack was launched by Pakistan against India that was thwarted. So in a way, it's a congratulatory visit as well, where appreciations are in order as far as the kind of defense that the armed forces are providing to not only our civilians, but also our important and sensitive installations across the country, and especially on the northern and western borders. So this meeting is taking place at the South Block, that is the Defence Ministry, and each and every aspect of not only the past engagements have been discussed, but also the future course of action for this flare-up that has taken place has been discussed with the top officials of the Defence Ministry. Back to you, Abhishek.
All right, Akshay, stay with us. I'll come back to you. But a crucial meeting of the International Monetary Fund will take place in Washington today a crucial meeting in Washington, and ahead of the crucial IMF meet, India on Thursday hinted that it could communicate its view to the global financial body on its bailout package for Pakistan. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said India's executive director at the IMF will put forward the country's position during the meeting of the board of the global body on Friday.
We have an executive director at the IMF. Tomorrow there is a meeting of the board of the IMF, and I'm sure that our executive director will put forward India's position. The decisions of the board are a different matter. You know the process through which they are made. But I think the case with regard to Pakistan should be self-evident to those people who generously open their pockets to bail out this country. And since you are from Bloomberg, I think you would have the data on how many IMF bailout programs have been, very good, thank you, have been sanctioned in the space of the last 3 decades. And I think you would also have an idea of how many of those programs have actually reached successful conclusion. Probably not many. So I think this is a decision that board members have to take by looking deep within themselves and looking at the facts.
And the IMF Executive Board is scheduled to meet Pakistan officials today for first review of the extended funding facility. Pakistan has received several bailout packages from the IMF over the past 10 years. And a desperate Pakistan is now scrambling for cover from Indian response to its misadventures across the border and LOC. Pakistan's Economic Affairs Division has now appealed to international nations for more money and urged them to help de-escalate. All right, Akshay Dongre continues to stay with us. Akshay, Pakistan literally begging for money. They are on the mercy of the IMF, and India will take up the matter with them, with the IMF in its meeting today. Tell us how significant and how crucial is the meeting?
Well, it's quite crucial, Abhishek, because it's a country that's just hanging by a thread of the IMF and World Bank funding. Pakistan doesn't have anything to export but terrorists. Pakistan produces nothing but terrorism. Pakistan has no expertise but in terrorism and creating chaos and panic in other countries. And unfortunately for Pakistan, it doesn't pay unless it calls for money while playing victim of terrorism itself. So that nefarious design has been exposed, especially now at this point in time. Well, IMF is providing money to Pakistan, and it is utilizing that money not to come out or make the people or vast majority of its population come out of poverty, but buy expensive missiles and fighter jets from all across the world and use it against its neighbors while supporting terrorism. So it is quite embarrassing for the country to be asking out in the open publicly for money from its allies as well as international monetary organizations to bail it out once again while it continues to support terrorism and launching attacks against its neighboring countries. While after there was a backlash as well, Abhishek, Pakistan is now trying to hide and run for cover, calling the account hacked, and now trying to retract statement. But the reality is now out in front of the world that what the kind of economic disaster Pakistan itself has put itself in order to think and have this misconception that it can first of all wage a war against the world's fourth largest economy, and then somehow expecting the world to bail it out when its economy starts collapsing.
Akshay, also, I mean, ahead of the meeting, Pakistan, they have confirmed heavy losses amid its stock market crash too. It has also asked for more loans from its international partners. On one side, they are fighting with India, and on the other side, they are talking about heavy losses and asking for more loans from its international partners. What do you make of it? Are they playing a victim card?
Well, absolutely, they are playing victim card. That is there embedded in the genes of Pakistani establishment, be it the military, the ISI, or the Pakistani government. The only way they get funding is through breeding terrorism and blackmailing the world to not unleash this terrorist in exchange for money. That is not what India was going to do and fall for this agenda of Pakistan. Eradicating terrorism means eradicating the only thing that Pakistan is expert at producing. Clearly it remains rattled, and it is using everything in its power to stop these terrorists from being flushed out of the territory of Pakistan. Even this is something that even the normal Pakistanis don't understand, that their country is one that not only sponsors but secures dastardly terrorists that are wanted around the world. Its military is also knee deep in corruption and has blood of innocents on its hands. They don't realize that Osama bin Laden was in fact living about a few hundred meters from its headquarter training grounds. So clearly it's a country, it's a rogue nation. It's not even a country anymore. It's a rogue state that is run by military dictatorship, that is only running on fuel that is being provided by IMF and World Bank, and the day it stops, Pakistan will come crashing down on its own knees.
Also, Akshay, stay with us. I'll come back to you. But news coming in, key meeting underway in the national capital amid the growing tensions between India and Pakistan. Union Home Minister Amit Shah is meeting DG BSF, DG CISF and top MHA officials. So, key meetings happening in the national capital. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is meeting CDS General Anil Chauhan along with 3 service chiefs, and also Home Minister Amit Shah meeting DG BSF, DG CISF and top MHA officials. Akshay, do you have any information on this about key meetings happening in the national capital?
Well, a lot of key meetings are happening, Abhishek, and that is all but natural in response to the attack by Pakistan yesterday. And it's quite a proud feeling for every Indian to see the government swinging into action. Even before any eventuality, protecting the citizens, safeguarding the borders and integrity of the country in such a professional manner that even after provocations, India refuses to attack the civilians of Pakistan. That is a big heart that is being shown by India. So what clearly we are seeing is preparation all around and every corner of the government. Every department of the government is right now swinging into action. Be it our own Ministry of Information and Broadcasting that is fact checking every propaganda by Pakistan, or be it people like you and others who are sitting and working for Doordarshan, providing authentic information to each and every Indian. The Defence Ministry officials who are ensuring round the clock security for the country and its borders and thwarting any attempts by Pakistan. And as far as internal security is concerned, Home Minister Amit Shah is also holding meetings with the DGs and the heads of several Central Armed Police Forces like CRPF, BSF, ITBP, SSB and CISF as well. That is ensuring security of crucial areas, sensitive areas. And the police as well. So clearly round the clock meetings happening to ensure the safety and all-out preparedness in securing the borders and the internal situation across the country. And while the armed forces thwarted of any attempts, India is not sleeping on the information that Pakistan is a rogue country and can go to any extent to weaken the morale of our armed forces and to create panic in the country.
Also, Akshay, what do you make of these circumstances? Pakistan targeting civilians, India strikes terrorists, not innocents. Is it fair to say that Pakistan, they are not understanding, not comprehending the gravity of the situation while the world is?
Well, it's a delusional state, Abhishek. We all know that. So, it would be a repetition of everything that the government is saying and what we have been repeating as well. It's a rogue state which will never understand, which will never learn, and it is going to learn a hard lesson taught by the armed forces of the country. Let Pakistan remain delusional and Pakistani army feed all the propaganda to the public of the country. But this is happening. India is going to give a befitting response to the misadventure by Pakistan yesterday evening.
Also, Akshay, I mean, India's air defense system, I mean, they effectively neutralize the incoming threats from Pakistan. Strategically speaking, how crucial in this interception in the broader strategic context?
Well, it's quite important. Abhishek, we can only gauge the situation by understanding the people who are witnessing missiles coming their way. These missiles were stopped, so you can only imagine, if a missile was heading to our way at this point in time, and if an air defense system would have prevented that, then we would be thanking the air defense system and the armed forces for saving our lives, and that is exactly what happened. So it's not just the S-400 that is obviously playing its role, but also the indigenous air defense systems that have been procured, that have been built and indigenously designed in India, such as the AAD, that is the Akash air defense system, other anti-drone systems that are deployed and are on high alert, and they're literally saving lives, since the last 72 hours.
Yes, also, Akshay, stay with us. In the interest of national security, all media platforms, news agencies and social media users are advised to exercise utmost responsibility and adhere strictly to existing laws and regulations while reporting on matters concerning defense and other security related operations. And all media channels, digital platforms and individuals are advised to refrain from live coverage or real-time reporting of defense operations and movement of security forces. Disclosure of such sensitive or source-based information may jeopardize operational effectiveness and endanger lives. Past incidents like the Kargil War, 26/11 attacks and the Kandahar hijacking underscore the risk of premature reporting. And as per clause 6 of the Cable Television Networks 2021, only periodic briefings by designated officials are permitted during anti-terror operations. All stakeholders are urged to exercise vigilance, sensitivity and responsibility in coverage, upholding the highest standards in the service of the nation. So, Ministry of Defence, Government of India, they have posted this on X, just clearly the need of the hour in the interest of national security. All media platforms, news agencies and social media users are advised to exercise utmost responsibility and adhere strictly to existing laws and regulations. Dibyendu Mandal has more information on this. Dibyendu, what more you can tell us?
Well, of course, Abhishek, the media channels as well as everyone reporting on this needs to, be very, very careful on what they are reporting. The situation is dynamic and it has been changing with every passing minute. In fact, all media organizations, need to exercise caution, need to exercise and respect the official information that is coming in, and needs to focus on the official information that is being given out by credible sources and only through the sources of the Government of India. Only those information that needs to be seen as credible source of information, and not to be following into the propaganda that Pakistan is trying to spread through social media. And therefore, we need to be extremely careful when we are reporting on sensitive issue like this. And the Government of India as well as the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting have been issuing advisories to the people, to the organizations to follow the strict guidelines that have been laid out in terms of what needs to be reported, and not to fall prey to these psychological warfare. And therefore, India is therefore giving a befitting reply to the psychological warfare that Pakistan is trying to wage. And there are many of these proxy social media handles that the Pakistani ISI, who is apt in creating these nefarious designs to create a psychological warfare, are being defeated by our fact-check units by our Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. We have a robust system to fact-check these wrong information that are being penetrated into the Indian social media through a psychological warfare by the Pakistani army, and therefore, but however, they are not being able to be successful because we are aware, vigil, and strictly monitoring these social media accounts. But having said this, again, Abhishek, it is imperative upon us and all responsible media organizations to follow only and only credible news. And of course, DD India and channels like ours is something that the people can watch for credible information and credible official information for anything related to the current situation in India. Abhishek.
Absolutely. We urge the countrymen for the credible information. They request them to watch the public broadcaster DD News and DD India, and media channels have been advised to be sensible, refrain from live coverage or real-time reporting.
Tell them to ask me on this. They are asking on something else.
And let's now take a look how Pakistan's media is twisting the truth about the Operation Sindoor. Pakistan's mainstream media outlets have systematically twisted facts, misled their audiences and shielded terror actors behind a facade of patriotic propaganda. Nearly every major Pakistani news channel such as Geo News, Dunya News, ARY News and Samba TV, they have been repeating the same unverifiable inflated claims that the Pakistan Air Force has shot down Indian drones. Geo News alleges 25 to 29 drones were intercepted without providing visual evidence or independent verification. Dunya News inflated that number to 32 drones. ARY News claimed 25 drones were shot down and also added drama by naming Israeli-made Harop drones allegedly used by India. With no neutral tone and gross misrepresentation of facts, these are coordinated attempts to portray Pakistan as both the victim. There is no mention that these drones were targeting terrorist launch pads, not civilian zones. Pak media also outrightly denied Pakistan launching any attacks or harbour terrorists involved in terror strikes inside India. Alright, so the world supports India. India launched Operation Sindoor after April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack. So India gains global backing against terror. India launched Operation Sindoor after April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack. Operation was precise, targeted only terror camps and no Pakistani military sites were targeted. On the night of May 7th and 8th, Pakistan fired drones and missiles at Indian bases in the north and west. India's air defense stopped the attacks. Debris at the sites showed Pakistan's intent to escalate. India stayed focused. Pakistan's actions were scattered and aggressive. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri, he said that any more attacks from Pakistan would be treated as an escalation. He also said that India's strikes were accurate and harmed no civilians. And if you have a look at the timeline, on May 9, as today, Pakistan again used drones and broke ceasefire along the border. Indian Army stopped the attacks and hit back. Army has said that India will reply strongly to any threat. India has got strong backing from the international community. We are talking about the diplomatic reach and the outreach. United Kingdom among the first to voice support for India. UK Foreign Minister David Lammy said that India had every reason to be outraged. Former UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak also said that no country should tolerate cross-border terror. Russia condemned all forms of terrorism. Deeply concerned about the military escalation, Israel stood firmly with India, and Israel ambassador also said that terrorists have no sanctuary, support India's right to defend itself. So, all 27 member states of European Union issued unified and strong statement, EU statement echoed by France, the Netherlands and Japan. Also, US President Donald Trump expressed solidarity with India. Donald Trump affirmed India's sovereign right to combat terrorism. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Iran, Qatar and Bangladesh support India's position. UAE and Qatar reaffirmed that terrorism in any form is unacceptable. On the other hand, Iran targeting civilians and using terror as a tool is unjustifiable, and Bangladesh reiterated its own zero tolerance policy on terrorism, and Bangladesh extended support to India's right to self-defense. Also, Panama recognized India's legitimate efforts to counter terrorism. Also, Panama urged unified international response to terror threats. And India's actions in Operation Sindoor is not about revenge, about defense. India acted with restraint, precision strikes, non-escalatory in nature, but also with resolve. Global leaders know that India did not strike first. India will not stay silent in the face of terrorism. India will act when needed, but always with care. Responsible nations understand and respect India's right to self-defense. Peace remains the goal, but peace cannot exist without security. And Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah drives to Jammu to take stock of on-ground situation in the city. Omar Abdullah visited Government Medical College to meet the people who were injured due to shelling from the side of Pakistan that took place in Poonch. Abdullah's visit to Jammu comes after the city was targeted by Pakistani drones and missiles, and sirens raided all Thursday night. All right, like we mentioned earlier also, the key meetings are happening in the national capital. We mentioned about Defence Minister Rajnath Singh meeting the CDS, and now Home Minister Amit Shah reviews the current situation amid India-Pakistan tensions, and Home Minister chairs key meeting in Delhi with DG BSF, DG CISF, DG Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, Director IB and Union Home Secretary. They attend the meeting. So, important development here. Home Minister Amit Shah, he holds an important meeting in the national capital to review the current situation amid India-Pakistan tensions at the border. Home Minister chairs key meeting in Delhi with DG BSF, DG CISF, DG Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, Director IB and Union Home Secretary. They attend the meeting. All right, Dibyendu Mondal continues to stay with us. Dibyendu, what is the update that you have on this crucial meeting?
Well, Abhishek, this is a meeting that comes at a time when the heightened tensions between India and Pakistan is underway in India, and of course, this meeting is crucial because we have seen yesterday how Pakistani terrorists tried to infiltrate in the Samba sector Jammu and Kashmir, and therefore the much heightened security measures needs to be put in place, and the BSF had been able to foil their infiltration bid successfully, and 7 terrorists have been killed in that attempt of infiltration. But heightened security measures in the bordering district and in the borders of India, both in the LOC as well as the international border, not just with Pakistan but also with the other borders in India, are being extensively monitored by the DG BSF. Therefore, the meeting with the Home Secretary and the Home Minister is currently underway with with DG BSF, as well as we have the IB chief, as well as the Bureau of Civil Aviation and the CISF. CISF is a crucial paramilitary force that guards and protects all the important institutions in India, including multiple of our important installations and plants, which includes the thermal power plants, the nuclear power plants, and other important installations across India. So therefore, this is a meeting that is being undertaken to ensure that the preparedness for any eventuality or any hostile attack is solid and robust, and how the Indian security forces will be able to tackle and mitigate any challenges that might arise of the current situation that is with India and Pakistan. So therefore, this is a review meeting that is happening, and of course the presence of the Bureau of Civil Aviation in this meeting is also crucial, because all the airports needs to be tightly secured from all aspects, and therefore a review meeting. And also, Abhishek, the CISF is the force that is responsible for providing security at the airports, and therefore the presence of the CISF, the Bureau of Civil Aviation, as well as the Intelligence Bureau head, along with the Home Secretary and Union Home Minister Amit Shah, is very, very crucial at this time. This is a review meeting on the security apparatus that is currently put in place in this country, as well as what further heightened security measures that needs to be taken in place, keeping in mind the current situation that is there in our borders with Pakistan. So of course, all measures being taken, and therefore we could see, already, Abhishek, at this moment, we could see that more robust security measures have been put across all airports, including Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, Hyderabad, and other important cities. So therefore, this meeting is crucial at this moment. This meeting is, as we speak, is underway at the Home Ministry's office in Delhi's South Block. So therefore, we can expect that this is just a preparatory meeting to ensure that we are ready to tackle any eventuality, or we are fully prepared to give a befitting reply to Pakistan.
All right, Debyendu, keep tracking this. We'll keep taking updates from you. The atmosphere in Punjab's Pathankot district remained peaceful this morning following last night's drone and missile attack from Pakistan targeting the Pathankot airbase. No reports of damage have been received from anywhere. The district administration has stated that the situation is under control. Early morning explosions were heard in Pathankot, but normal life resumed as residents rushed to buy essentials after power was restored. Residents said they had heard explosions during the night, prompting them to switch off their lights. Authorities urged the public to stay calm and follow the official guidelines and the advisories from time to time.
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਮ ਜਨਮਾਨਸ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ ਰੂਟੀਨ ਕੰਮ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਨਿਕਲ ਗਿਆ, ਕਿਸੇ ਪ੍ਰਕਾਰ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਖੌਫ ਕੋਈ ਡਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ। ਸਭ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਅੱਜ ਜੈ ਜੈਕਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵੀਰਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਬਹਾਦਰੀ ਦਾ ਪਰਿਚੈ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋਏ ਪਾਕਿਸਤਾਨ ਨੂੰ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੋੜ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ।
हिंदुस्तान की जी सेना हैगी ਉਹਦੇ ਤੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਗਰਵ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੋੜ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਗਿਆ। ਤੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਕ ਅਪੀਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਫਵਾਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਵਿਸ਼ਵਾਸ ਨਾ ਰੱਖਣ। ਲੋਕੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੰਮਕਾਜ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ, ਜਿੰਨਾ ਦਿਨਚਰਿਆ ਹੈਗੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਦਿਨਚਰਿਆ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਮ ਹੈਗੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ।
All right, we'll go across to DD India. Shabir Dar is joining us on the phone line from Srinagar. Shabir, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Umar Abdullah visiting Government Medical College Hospital in Jammu and also assessing the current situation, security situation. What more details do you have?
Yeah, Umar Abdullah actually was in Srinagar in the morning and he drove straight in the wee hours to reach Jammu to take the first-hand review of the situation post the last night's aerial attack by the Pakistan. He has has gone to the hospital to inquire about the injured, and he had a meeting with the senior officers of the administration and the police to get the first-hand account of how we have managed the situation in Jammu. And as you know, India had the upper hand in Jammu last night when our air defense system was able to destroy the missiles and the drones fired by the Pakistan to the towards Jammu's direction, targeting military installations and the airport. So obviously, Umar Abdullah is on the ground, assessing situation, assuring people that whole country, our army forces and the administration is with the people in this point of crisis. So similarly, the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha is in Uri and Baramulla. He's visiting these areas, these forward areas, to actually make the people who have been evacuated from the forward areas of Uri and Tangdar sector. So there too has been heavy shelling and small arm firing from the Pakistan side, which has resulted in the death of one lady in Uri sector and injuries to many. So there has been huge damage to the civilian properties in the forward areas, and Lieutenant Governor is taking the stock of the situation and assuring people that they need to stand firm with the security forces, with our armed forces in this fight of crisis. So obviously, both Lieutenant Governor and Chief Minister are hitting the ground, assuring people, they are asking people to stay firm with our security forces so that a befitting reply, as they have already given to the enemy, so if their further nefarious designs will be defeated the way we saw last night in Jammu.
All right, Shabir, thank you for getting us the latest from Srinagar. Statement issued by Rashtriya Swamsevak Sangh. We are talking about the statement that has been issued by the Rashtriya Swamsevak Sangh. We congratulate the central government leadership and our armed forces for decisive action. Operation Sindoor taken against Pak-sponsored terrorists and their supporting ecosystem following the cowardly attack on unarmed tourists at Pahalgam. This action to serve justice to aggrieved families and entire country in the brutal massacre of Hindu tourists has enhanced self-respect and morale of the whole country. We totally agree that military action being taken against terrorists, their infrastructure and support systems in Pakistan is necessary and inevitable for security of the country. In this hour of national crisis, the entire country stands with the government and armed forces in spirit and action. We condemn the attacks being carried out by Pakistani army on religious places and civilian settlement areas on the border of Bharat and express heartfelt condolences to families of victims in these savage, inhuman attacks. In this challenging time, Rashtriya Swamsevak Sangh appeals to all citizens to ensure full compliance of instructions being given by the government and administration. Along with this, while discharging our sacred civic duty, we all have to be cautious and do not let any conspiracy of anti-national forces to succeed in disrupting social unity and harmony. All citizens are requested to display their patriotism and be ready to cooperate with army and civic administration wherever and however required and strengthen all efforts to maintain national unity and security. So this is the statement that has been issued by Rashtriya Swamsevak Sangh. Moving on, Punjab government has launched a full-scale review of emergency services in border districts. 10 cabinet ministers have been deployed to assess critical infrastructure and ensure readiness of essential services. Ministers will conduct inspections of hospitals and fire stations while also reviewing the availability of ration, supplies and other emergency resources. All right, so Punjab government has launched a full-scale review of emergency services in the border districts. 10 cabinet ministers have been deployed to assess the critical infrastructure and ensure readiness of the essential services. And the Chandigarh administration sounded an air raid siren early in the morning, urging residents to stay indoors as tensions between India and Pakistan escalated. The alert was lifted about an hour later. Chandigarh serves as the shared capital of Punjab and Haryana. Meanwhile, officials in Punjab's Mohali district, which borders Chandigarh, issued an alert for the nearby residents. All right, we'll go across to Gurmeet Singh. He is joining us on the phone line. Gurmeet, we received reports of an air warning from the Air Force Station regarding a possible drone threat in Chandigarh. What's the latest updates do you have on that? Alert over now, and also power has been restored in Chandigarh?
See, Abhishek, the latest that we are getting in, as you have already told our viewers, is that an air raid siren was heard in Chandigarh today morning itself, and it was done by the Air Force Station, and warning. It was a warning for the possible aerial attack. So sirens were sounded across the city, and residents were advised to stay indoors and away from the balconies, windows and glass panes, specifically in sector 45 and 46, because it is a little bit close to the Air Force Station and the other installations. So the advisory has been put up by the district administration for all the residents of the Chandigarh to stay indoors. But also the administration has already been clarified that this is being done just as a precautionary measure and nobody needs to panic. In addition to this, we want to tell our viewers that in Punjab there have been a lot of developments that have been taking place, and the proof of the Pakistan's failed attempts to target Indian cities is scattered all over several Punjab villages. And we have already discussed in the previous bulletins about the Bathinda, where in two villages the debris of the missiles have been received, and the very first village is Bir Talab in Bathinda, where the debris, which is close to the size of a big drum, has been received, and the local administration and police and the special forces are there recovering and analyzing the whole stuff that has been received from recovered from there. And second is Tungwali village in Bathinda, where the debris has been recovered, and it is the police and security forces are there. And the third place is in Hoshiarpur, where the hilly area of Kamahi Devi, where the debris, the input that we are getting in is the debris being recovered from there. So the latest update regarding the debris being recovered is only this, and in addition to this, the latest updates about the Guru Nanak Dev University exams that were supposed to be conducted till 17th of May have been postponed, and also the Punjab government has closed down schools by the 11th of May for 3 days. So right now the Punjab government has also set up an emergency team of its cabinet ministers, keeping the situation in mind, and all the 10 cabinet ministers have been deployed to the various
yes, Gurmeet, and Punjab government, they have launched a full-scale review of the emergency services. Thank you for getting us the latest on that story. But big news coming in here, the 2025 edition of the Indian Premier League suspended indefinitely. The Board of Control for Cricket in India took the decision in wake of the current security situation, and a cloud of uncertainty had loomed over the future of the ongoing edition, which was going on in the Indian Premier League since the cancellation of Thursday's match between Punjab Kings and Delhi Capitals in Dharamshala. It was called off midway, and the spectators, they were evacuated soon after. But this is big. Indian Premier League 2025 has also been suspended midway. All right, Tapas Bhattacharya, DD India correspondent, has more information on this. Tapas, need of the hour, and this had to happen. Indian Premier League has been suspended indefinitely.
Right. So Abhishek, as you know very well, you've been covering sports as well. The conditions and the scenario right now in the country is not as for playing cricket, and this is one of the reasons why it was decided. Remember the last match, Thursday's match between Punjab King and Delhi Capital in Dharamshala was stopped midway due to the air raid alerts in the nearby cities of Jammu and Pathankot, and that's one of the reasons why the officials of the BCCI as well as from the Indian Premier League took the decision and suspending the IPL indefinitely and took the decision, and that we will be getting the official report in a short while from now. We've been told also that it's not the officials told me that it is not appropriate for the cricket to continue during a times of war, and they said that it is they didn't think that it is they wanted to curtail it, but later on took the decision, as many of the matches would have taken place in the border areas, and it would have been a difficult proposition. I remember the last, as I mentioned, the Thursday's match, they had to evacuate everybody from the stadium. So that's one point that they were talking about. So as I can tell you that right now IPL has been suspended, and we will be getting more information in due course of time. When it will resume, that remains to be seen. But as of now, we can tell you that IPL has been suspended indefinitely. We will get more details and give you more. We'll be able to give you more details as official version of the report comes.
Absolutely, Indian Premier League has been suspended indefinitely due to tensions between India and Pakistan. Thank you, Tapas. Thank you for getting us the latest on that story. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.